Metro, the citizens of Duskwood are in dire need of your assistance. I have here a letter from Commander Althea Ebenlock, leader of the Night Watch, pleading for help. To reach Darkshire, you should travel across the bridge located in the southwest corner of Redridge. Once you cross the bridge, you'll be in Duskwood. Then, you'll just follow the road to Darkshire. Beware of the savage beasts that stalk the countryside.
With you.
Hello.
You're the help that we requested? I suppose you will have to do. The dire wolves are the most common threat to the townsfolk here. They lurk in the forest on all sides of us, though most of them are along the bank of the North River. They aren't the runt dogs you see in Elwind, or wherever you come from. They're as big as a man and twice as vicious. If you wish to assist the people of Darkshire, hunt the dire wolves so our streets can be safer.
Greetings.
Welcome to my kitchen, milady. This is where all of the Scarlet Raven's tavern's finest delicacies are made. Just smell the wonderful aroma. Seasoned wolf kebabs are a house favorite. Sure, I can make you some, but first I'll need the supplies. Bring me 5 wolf skirt steaks. The dire wolves near the river north of the town are good to hunt. I wouldn't stray too far into the woods if I were you. I'll let you in on a little secret. Dusky crab cakes are really made from spider meat. I know it's a bit disgusting, but the cakes have a nice tangy flavor and make great snacks. If you want to try some still, I'm afraid I'm out of meat. I need some lump meat to whip up a few more cakes. Venom web spiders are a good source. They nest to the north, between the foothills and the river.
Be careful.
Darkness seems drawn inexorably to Duskwood. Master Caravan's quest is the expulsion of evil and heresy. Through our efforts, are the people of Darkshire kept safe? You believe yourself worthy to join us? I once thought as you. Disillusioned by the complacency of the Watch, I joined Master Caravan. If you wish to prove yourself, it will not be through words. Test your skills against the Nightbane Worgen in Brightwood Grove. We'll see if you have what it takes to hunt these monsters.
I do for you?
Impressive. It would seem that you're capable enough to handle yourself. Perhaps a more suitable challenge could be found for one of your abilities. Don't go thinking that was too easy. Far greater dangers lurk deeper in the woods. We're able to find 5 wolf skirt steaks. The skirt steak's the best part. It's not an efficient way to cook, though. Here, have this recipe. It's a little different, but flank meat's easier to come by when you really need a meal. Let me just get this seasoned with my secret spices. Hey, no looking. And get them to skittering on a skillet for a while. And although Dusky crab cakes are my specialty, and I won't give out the recipe, here's the recipe for a dish that's almost as good.
Go with honor, friend.
I'm afraid you're all I've got to help here, Metro. Stormwind's forces are so tasked by greater evils that they can't spare a single footman to protect Darkshire. It's up to me and the rest of the Night Watch to keep our homes safe. There's more threats here than just wolves, unfortunately. Rotting horrors roam near Blind Mary's haunt on the southeast outskirts. If they're not kept in check, they'll be visiting our homes in the night. Deal with the undead and report back to me for your bounty. The Worgen infestation stretches further than Brightwood Grove. To the south, on the very edges of Darkshire itself, the rotting orchard is host to even more of the savage beasts. The Worgen there are more cunning, Metro, but just as savage and evil. They conjure foul shadows to tear their enemies apart from a distance. Go to the rotting orchard and slay the shadow weavers to keep the town safe.
Well met.
Formed well against the Shadow Weavers, Metro, but even now, years after their first arrival, there seems to be so many to replace the ones we kill. I will put my faith in Master Caravan. No doubt he will get to the bottom of this problem. Your previous accomplishments have convinced me that you are ready to take on the toughest Worgen infesting these woods. Of the Worgen that have made their new home here, the Vile Fangs and Tainted Ones have proven the most dangerous. They've settled down near some of the caves in the mines to the south. From far away, you can even see the light from their bonfires.
What can I do for you?
Splendid, Metro. For your service to the people of Darkshire, you shall be rewarded. There's even fouler undead left to deal with, though. Tranquil Garden Cemetery, further south of town, is a place you don't want to be caught in at night. The bones that rise from the ground there are cunning enough to remember how to swing an axe or cast a spell. I shouldn't need to explain how dangerous that makes them. Proceed with caution, but remember the people of Darkshire that will suffer if you falter.
Need help?
Metro, to be honest with you, I did not believe that you would get this far, but you are clearly a paladin to be reckoned with. In fact, if you wish to formally join Master Caravan's struggle, I will gladly write for you a letter of recommendation. Here you go, Metro. Bring this message to Master Caravan. He quickly removes a piece of faded parchment and offers it to you. A few more like you, and we will outnumber the Night Watch. Perhaps then we could complete the work that we few carry on today.
Greetings.
Yes, what is it? Make it quick. I have pressing matters to attend to. Excuse me for my cold reception, Metro, but as I'm sure you can tell, I am an extremely busy man. I see that you have impressed Caller, and I assure you that is no small feat, and that he has given his recommendation. There are unsavory types afoot, Metro, and we can use the help of all who have proven themselves. We battle against demons, the undead, and those who would provide them aid. Be vigilant, be wary, and trust none who would not give you aid to our cause. Glory under the light.
See you later.
The people of Darkshire thank you, Metro. You've proven yourself to be a great ally of the Night Watch.
Can I help you?
I've been told there's signs of activity at Beggar's Haunt. People have been reported seeing lights in the tower to the east of town. Few would be bold enough to stay that close to Deadwind Pass. You're the first to report since I've learned about this, so go check it out and make sure whatever in there is human.
Be careful.
What can I do for you?
Ah, welcome, stranger. I'd offer you something, but there's not much here. What is a poor old man to do? I need some supplies from Darkshire, but the village is so far away, and I'm so old and feeble. I would never make the trip. Can you go to Darkshire and bring me back some ghost hair thread? You can get it from Madame Eva at her home on the Darkshire Square.
Safe travels.
Light be with you.
Ah, ghost hair thread is what you need, is it? I'm afraid I have none in stock, but I could make some for you if you can supply the ghost hair. There's a poor, sad spirit, Blind Mary, who haunts an old farm in the hills south of Darkshire. Here, take this spectral comb and ask Blind Mary to comb her hair. Then bring back the comb, and I will glean from it the ghost hair I'll need for the thread. And take care, for dark things now lurk near that house.
Farewell.
I am forsaken.
Oh, please, don't look at me. I tore out these eyes with my own hands. I can still feel your gaze. I'm hideous. Hideous, please look away. What is this? A comb. It's lovely, and it glides through my hair as if it weren't the stiff, stringy horror that it is. Oh, if only I had a mirror. No, take it. Take this comb away from me. I'm a monster, and no one will ever think me lovely again.
Remember, patience, discipline.
You need something?
I sense that you have seen Blind Mary. Do you have my comb? I can make a spool of ghost hair thread with this, and have a few strands to spare. Here are some coins for those extra strands. Here's your thread. It's got 1,000 uses, from binding evil spirits to sewing life into inanimate objects.
Safe travels.
Hey there.
I need to string the ghost hair thread along my door and my windows to keep out unwanted spirits. Did you get it for me? Delightful. This will do splendidly. Here, good Metro. Take this as payment for your honorable deed. I need a bottle of a certain liquor, zombie juice. Tavern Keeper Smith's at the Scarlet Raven Tavern in Darkshire should have some. And please hurry, Metro. These nights get cold, and I need that drink to put the fire in my veins again.
See you later.
Hey there.
You need zombie juice, do you? That's some strong stuff. I don't usually get requests for it. If you bring me some rot blossom, then I can brew you up a batch of zombie juice. Rot blossoms grow here in strange places. They tend to flourish on dead things, and Duskwood has its fair share of those. I've seen a few of them growing at Tranquil Garden Cemetery lately. Check near the graves, but mind the dead that are walking about there.
Be careful. Can I help you?
You have those blossoms for me? Oh, good, you've got the rot blossoms. I'll whip up the zombie juice. It's strong stuff, I warn you. Here's your zombie juice, and be careful with this stuff. It's strong enough to raise the dead.
For the Alliance.
Need something?
I need that zombie juice to get me warm in these cold, dark nights. Did you get it for me? 1,000 thanks, Metro. You warm an old man's heart with your your kindness. Here you are, friend. Take this as a token of my gratitude. A few weeks ago, I was picking herbs far from my house, and a band of ogres attacked me. I ran, and I was forced to leave behind a crate of precious tools and herbs. After they chased me off, the ogres swaggered back to the Ogre Mound in southern Duskwood. I'm sure my crate is somewhere near the mound. Please, Metro, retrieve this crate for me, for I miss it sorely.
See you around.
Light be with you.
Hail, Paladin. Care to lend a hand to the people of Darkshire? There's a huge ogre mound just down the hill there. The splinter fist ogres usually keep to themselves, but they've got a bad habit of attacking travelers. Just the other day, I saw one drag off a poor man's horse for food. He was lucky it left him behind. The Night Watch wants to only risk its few members in the defense of more immediate threats, me included. But if you kill some of these ogres for me, I will pay you for your deed.
Go with honor, friend. King's honor, friend.
Saw you drop a few of them from here. Nice work. Here's your reward on behalf of the Night's Watch.
Light bless you.
Good day to you.
Do you have my crate? If so, then please give it to me quickly. Thank you, Metro. You have more than earned your reward. Happy nights ahead. Out here on the outskirts of town, it's a wonder the walking dead haven't eaten me. In fact, just yesterday a pack of ghouls was pounding on the walls of my tower. I went to make an effigy, a kind of scarecrow for ghouls. To do that I need some ghoul ribs. You can find plenty of them on the fetid corpse wandering Manor Miss Mantle's grounds, north of Darkshire. Get the ribs for me and I will repay you with some coin.
Have a good one. Hello.
I'm sure you can find plenty of ribs in Ravenhill as well, but you might not want to wander so far at night. Ah, thanks. These will do the trick. Take this note to Ello Ebenlock, the mayor of Darkshire. He and I are old friends. When he reads it and discovers what you did for me, I'm sure he'll be just as happy as I am.
Need help?
A letter? What's this all about? Ello looks at the letter and immediately pales. You fool! You've doomed us all! You're not the first fool to be manipulated by Abercrombie. That doddering old man is known as the Embalmer to us. He's a vile necromancer and a blight upon this town. And now, sewn together and given life by the very materials you brought him, his horrible creation approaches. That hideous creature will be upon us in mere moments. If you have any heart, Metro, you will help the Night's Watch drive off the abomination and save our town.
Be careful.
Slay Stitches.
honor, friend.
Thank the light he's gone. I'll say you've made your amends by helping save the lives of those here, Metro.
For the Alliance.
I have to say, before we start this is one of my favorite quest lines in the entire game. The stuff that's been written here is absolutely amazing. It's been in the game for a very long time. One of the reasons I'm even doing this is because of this quest line right here. So without further ado, let's get to the Legend of Stalvin.
Ain't you a chipper-looking one?
I'm here because I received a letter from my brother Stalvin, who I haven't seen in years. On arriving here, I was told he was dead. The entire town refuses to offer any further explanation. Any mention of his name is met with terror and suspicion, as if I didn't have enough of that myself already. I'm afraid of what will happen if my frustration and anger grows any further. I beg you, help me get to the bottom of this. Implore Clerk Daltrey for any information he may have on my brother.
That's enough gabbing for me today.
What can I do for you?
Can I help you? Oh, you want to know about Stalvin? You're not the first, you know. We get outsiders coming through asking about him every so often. Always outsiders. Everyone who lives here knows better. You're out of luck anyway. I am missing half the archives. Feral Worgen broke into the town hall not a few nights ago and tore the place to shreds. The documents you want are probably strewn all across Brightwood Grove by now. Deep in the woods to the west. Not worth it if you ask me. To the Honorable Headmaster Cerulean, my former master, I write to you so that you might know what your apprentice has been doing as of late. Paying heed to your advice, I sought to build my knowledge and wisdom through travel outside the gates of our beloved Stormwind. My journeys took me to many places, but I have decided to take up residence here in the lovely town of Moonbrook. The surrounding fields of Westfall are most beautiful as the harvest approaches. Within just a few days of my visit, I found myself tutoring the local children from the nearby farmlands. The lessons went so well that the town's mayor commissioned me to run a school, and construction has begun on a brand new schoolhouse. From Silverpine to Stormwind, and now Moonbrook, who would have guessed I would see so much of Azeroth? Warm regards, Stalvin Mistmantle. Dear noble sir, word of your need for a tutor for your children has traveled to me here in Goldshire, where I take up temporary residence in the Lion Pride Inn. Due to the unfortunate state of events in the region, I was forced to abandon my post as headmaster of Moonbrook School. Please accept my application to serve as tutor for your offspring. Headmaster Cerulean of the Academy can speak to you of my abilities if necessary. I shall travel to meet you in person when the winter rains subside and the roads are suitable for travel once again. Until then, Stalvin Mistmantle of Silverpine.
How are you?
Look, miss, I really don't want any trouble. By the light, you actually went and got it? I'm shocked. I suppose I owe you thanks for returning it to the archives. If you're that serious about this, I'll help you. I know where the other documents must be. I'm just too terrified to do anything about it. There's only a few places that those horrible Nightbane beasts gather when they're not prowling the forest. One of them's the rotting orchard to the south. They use the buildings there as their den, so if they haven't eaten the other documents, you might find one there. But you'll have to search their lairs thoroughly, I'd wager.
See you around.
Giles, the boy, seems a bit rambunctious and will be a challenge to educate. However, the eldest daughter, Taloa, seems exceptionally smart. I couldn't help but to notice her captivating beauty as well. She's on the cusp of womanhood now. Supposedly, the Lord has arranged her marriage for next year. But I digress. This week I will accompany the family to their summer cottage near the Eastvale logging camp in Elwyn, close to the Redridge Mountains. I hope to write more while there. Most strange and uncontrollable feeling. Never have I felt the way I did today. While assisting Giles with his history lesson, Taloa was outside tending to the flower garden. After a few minutes, she came inside and placed a scarlet begonia in my open palm and smiled at me in such a way that my heart felt as though it was trembling within my chest.
You need something?
That was all you found? That's bad news, I'm afraid. This isn't all of it. You should let it go, Metro. The only place left to look is Roland's Doom. That's the mine south of town, and that's the largest lair of Worgen and Duskwood. Nobody in Darkshire has ever made it back from that place alive. In fact, some of the records I have here imply that where the monsters first came from, so who knows what evil's lurking in there. Please, just give up. Let's just forget about this whole thing and never speak of it again.
Have a good one.
Most certain that she shares the same feelings for me now. She even placed her hand on mine this morning. When she smiles, her eyes light up like glittering diamonds. Unspoken words pass between us. I could feel her pounding heart and heated veins. Anger and fury, the likes of which I never knew existed. How dare she? As I was instructing Giles in the meaning of numbers, Taloa appears before me with a suitor. Holding hands in public, nonetheless. What an uncouth young man. Rather than introduce me properly, Taloa simply says, "Oh, that's just my tutor, Uncle Stalvin. He's a nice old man." Old? At that word, my cheek flushed with heat. I am but a few years older, and yet she betrays.
Hello.
I told you it's not worth pursuing. You actually went and got it. I don't know whether to call you brave or insane, but once again, my archives thank you. You've recovered everything. Everything except the last page, which I've got right here. Don't look at me like that. You'll understand when you read it. Some say it's cursed, you know. In fact, I was relieved when the Worgen broke in and made off with these. Take it. Take all of it, in fact. I thank you for recovering my archives, but I don't want anything to do with this ever again. Please, just leave me be.
See you later.
The final bloodstained page has been added. Downward spiral of despair. First she mocks me, now she is engaged. The ungracious charlatan was pretending to love, when truly she desired to hurt me all along. A black void lurks within me now, and it grows with each waking moment. The blood I shall spill pales in comparison to the tears I have shed.
I got a bad feeling.
Did you find anything about my brother? I can't thank you enough. I'd hoped for this to be a joyous reunion, but the more I learn, the less glad I am to have asked. But I must know. This can't be. My brother was strong-willed, but such vileness? Such sickness and violent, bloody evil. I must have answers. I need to know how I got that letter. I need to know if Stalvin really did this. I need to know why. Take my ring. Bring it to Madame Eva. That woman is a follower of old arts and makes no secret of it. Call it madness, but I'll try anything at this point.
Keep your chin up, eh?
Need help?
What dark whispers guide you to my door, Paladin? How interesting. It's been quite a while since I've seen such a ring. I'm afraid I cannot give Tobias the answer he seeks, but I can help you find the only person who can. Stalvin Mistmantle. Take the ring into the woods to the north, to Manor Mistmantle, where Stalvin's body was buried. Enter, and hold the ring before you. Let the waning moon pour its light through the ring, and the spirits will answer your call. Take heed, Metro. The questions of the living can offer more comfort than the answers of the dead.
Go with honor, friend.
My ring. Who holds my family? Taloa, is that you? Brother. Tobias. Tell me if it's true, brother. Tell me you didn't die a murderer. It's all true, brother. Every word. You doubted it? But why? How could you? You know why. Surely you felt anger. Anger so foul and vicious that it makes you want to tear someone to shreds. No, stop it. Aren't you feeling it right now? You see, brother, we're not so different. No.
We've been walled up for far too long.
Master Harris may have been right. I would have been better to leave the past behind. I've got a new life now. Whether it's that of a monster or a man is up to me. As for you, I cannot thank you enough for your assistance. Regardless of the outcome, please take this with my thanks.
Watch your back.
I've been trying to keep my true self hidden away from the people of Darkshire. They seem to react poorly to Worgen. There are more of us here, though, beyond the city. The companions I first traveled with here searched the woods for wild Worgen. They believe some of them, ones with telltale signs, can still be retuned to sanity. I'm not quite ready to rejoin them. Please send word to Apprentice Fez at the crossroads west of town that I'll be staying in Darkshire a while longer.
Good day.
So it's not what it used to be in the pre-Cataclysm version. It's way more in-depth. I think it's a little darker too. It's been a very long time since I've done it. I'd love to do it on Classic again now that we have the opportunity, but it's just not something I'm very interested in right now. But I'll tell you, the original questline is absolutely spectacular. So maybe I will have to get that and record that too at some point, because it takes you, the best part about it is it takes you all over the few zones. And that's what I love about the human side of things. All of these zones, Redridge, near Stormwind, all that stuff, it all links up to each other. And in the early days, there was a lot of quests that linked up too. So easily one of my favorite quests ever, but we're not done with the zone. There's still a good amount left, so we're going to head over to the west side now. So the Stalvin questline is one of my favorite, most memorable questlines in the entire game, like not in the zone, in the entire game. I love it, and I love spending time here because of that. But the stuff on the left side might actually take place in what might be one of my favorite areas in the game. And there's this area that we're going to see today when we go through this questline that is just really, really, really cool. And it reminds me of kind of the old days because I spent time kind of getting lost in this catacomb area. Even on Classic, like now, like proper Classic that's been relaunched, there's a lot of value just spending a lot of time there. It's very easy grinding, especially if you're a paladin. So it's just one of the most unique areas. And I love that they tried to kind of breathe another breath of fresh air into it when Cataclysm came out by introducing this Worgen storyline that we're going to take a look at today. So Tobias is staying in town still. Master Harris warned him not to pursue his brother's fate. We all lead new lives now, after all. But the past is hard to let go of. I need large amounts of corpse weed from Master Harris's concoction. It is difficult to obtain, but we can't let our supply dwindle. Corpse weed is tough stuff to tangle with. The plant will get you before you get it, if you're not careful. But if you'd like to help out, I'll eagerly pay you for any of the stuff you gather. You'll find plenty of it over at Jorgen's stead to the southeast. My kinsmen at Raven Hill are concerned with curing the feral Worgen in these forests. The condition itself cannot be lifted, but sanity can be restored to those not too far gone. While most here have proven beyond help, we keep an eye out for those that remain vestiges of their minds. Attachments to their old lives. I've seen a lone Worgen lurking the Jorgen farmstead, digging in a pile of dirt between the buildings. Could you check out that pile and see if he's left anything? You have the corpse weed. I thank you, Paladin, and I'm sure the Worgen that may be returned to sanity with the potion this will make will thank you too. Sounds like a close call, but he ran off without harming you further. He might still be fighting it. Master Harris must know. Master Harris will want to know of this immediately. Here, take this package of corpse weed down the road to the camp at Raven Hill. Tell him what we saw at the Jorgen stead.
You wouldn't want to see me when I'm angry.
What brings you out this way, my good lady? Welcome to our humble camp. I wouldn't call it pleasant, but it's at least somewhat private. Beg your pardon, a Worgen at the farm. What we do here is not a cure. The transformation cannot be removed once inflicted. But the mind can be restored through alchemy. If enough is left intact, that is. This Worgen you've encountered sounds like he's fighting to stay aware, Metro. We've got to find him again. If he's fled the Jorgen's stead, search the Adelstead to the south. He may be lurking in one of the buildings. Inject him with this ampule to tranquilize him. You'll need to be quite close.
Hey there.
Master Harris requires many reagents for his serums. He has me gather them for him. Most of it's not so bad. I mean, the corpse weed is pretty bad, but it's not as bad as the widow venom. Have you seen the widows around here? The hatchlings are the size of a man. Even with the gun, I can't stand to go out hunting them. It's just too terrifying. If you'll go do it for me, I'll gladly pay you. Just bring me back some widow venom. You'll find them all in the woods to the east, just north of the road.
See you around. Yes.
The dead cry for solace. Their anguish echoes on the wind. This is a tragic land with a history of violence and despair. While many of the dead roam in the flesh, some are simply lost souls wandering in confusion. They deserve to be put to ease. Many of these souls gather at the Adelstead to the south, appearing before travelers. Take this censer of holy incense, sway it before the forlorn spirit, and let the offering of its gentle scent give them peace. I'm afraid that, well, I'm just plain afraid, but I'm also sorry to have to ask another favor of you. Master Harris needs brains. Bear brains. They're part of the serum, apparently, or at least a proper substitute. There's plenty of black bears in the woods to the west along the riverbank, but I just can't do it. I'm too terrified to go out there and face those huge things, even with a rifle. Please, let me pay you to bring back some.
Safe travels.
You got him. No time to lose, then. We'll prepare to administer the serum right away. Jitters, get ready. I'm hopeful, but let's remain professional. It's a business as usual for this one. Into the guillotine he goes, and if the alchemy doesn't take, he won't be getting back out of it. Jitters and I will attend to this. Please, just stand back and watch from a safe distance. Here we go. It's working. Hold him still, Jitters. I can't. Jitters. Damn it, Jitters, I said hold. Jitters. Ooh. I remember now. It's all your fault. You brought the Worgen to Duskwood. You led the Dark Riders to my farm and hid while they murdered my family. Every speck of suffering in my life is your pathetic fault. I should kill you. Letting him go is the only thing that's going to separate you from the beast now, my friend. You got a lot to make up for, Jitters. I won't give you the easy way out. Success, finally. I can't thank you enough for giving me the chance to work the cure myself. Our new friend may be in need of some help as well. You might want to speak with him. Before I was lost to the woods, the last thing I remember is Morbid Fell. He's a vile necromancer, and the reason this land swarms with so many vile undead. I asked an adventurer to help me put an end to him. I thought they did. But Sister Elsington tells me the land still crawls with ghouls and specters ripped from the grave. Morbid Fell should have breathed his last in the house of Forlorn Row, north of Ravenhill Cemetery. Go there and see what's become of him. You have brought peace to those who know only misery. Be proud.
Farewell.
Can you hear them, Metro? There's so many of them. They wander their graves, shuffling across the cold ground on rotting limbs. The dead cry out in the still air. They suffer in their own flesh, forced from sleep. Every night I venture to the graveyard to put more of them to rest, but it's never enough. Help me, Metro. Put the ghouls that swarm Ravenhill Cemetery out of their misery. Strike down as many as you can.
Long live Greymane.
So that kind of like crypt area is one of the coolest areas in the game. I love the way it kind of winds into that tunnel with almost like some more sinister stuff in the tunnel on the way. And there's tons and tons of undead. And after you kill Morbent Fell, all the ghouls die. It's so cool. I never know if that's actually part of the quest, but I do it every single time I do this zone because it's just way too cool not to do. And then you go into the house and pick the hat up. His clothes and blood stains. If it's not tricks, it's something worse. The others here share my suspicion. Morbent Fell lives on in undeath, and may be even more powerful than before. A necromancer was struck down, but a lich may have risen in his place, and now he continues to ruin this land. I remember Duskwood before all this, Metro. I remember bright skies and peaceful woods. This can't stand. Morbent Fell must be stopped for good. Speak to Sister Elsington. Her vision might guide you to where Morbent Fell is and how he can be defeated. Oh, that's funny. So I wasn't even supposed to do that, it seems.
Need something?
Did you get them? Thank you. Oh, thank you. I never thought I'd be happy to smell those brains, but I am now, and I didn't have to go get them myself. Here's your rewards. And it's heartening to see one so recently recovered be so concerned with the plight of others. Sven spares himself suffering by not dwindling on his own misfortune. Sven is correct. I can feel the presence of a powerful evil deep beneath the Ravenhill Cemetery. Evil lurks in its catacombs, and Morbent Fell must be the source. You will need the power of the light to strike him down. Sven told me of the heroes who first slew Morbent Fell, wielded an artifact of light-forged iron, imbued with holy power. That artifact is still here. I can feel it as well, a glimmer of light amidst the darkness. Search Ravenhill for it, and let the light guide you through it. Buried in the cold dirt, you find a brilliant metal shaft, but there are holes where pieces of the artifact are clearly missing. In front of you, the bare earth slopes down towards the dark entrance of the crypts. You can feel the tug of the light-forged artifact urging you towards it. Perhaps the other piece is down there. In the dirt of this alcove, your eye catches the shine of brilliant metal. You found another piece of the artifact. You attach the arch to the rod, and the artifact is nearly complete. A large gap still sits at the center of the holy symbol's head. Once again, you feel it tug your arm, urging you towards the hole in the wall, and winding in the winding tunnel ahead. The last piece must be through here. In the darkest depths of this earthen tunnel, you spy the faintest gleam. The last piece is found. The pieces fit, and the holy artifact is restored, gleaming with sacred light. This should let you defeat Morbent Fell's dark magic. Further down the tunnel, away from the direction you came, a heinous cackle rings out. It is the clattering laugh of a lich. Morbent Fell is just ahead. Maybe the disgusting monster stay dead this time. I'll head down there and scatter his remains to ash myself, Metro. You've done a great thing. Perhaps in time, Duskwood can return to its former peaceful state. So yeah, I actually killed that dude twice. No problem. Hard mode, we did it. I just love going through that catacomb. It's such a freaking cool place. Honestly, one of the coolest places in the whole game. I love how it goes through those two different areas. If you walk over those graves, it spawns ghouls. It's just such a great place. Typically, you would think that would be the end of the zone, but there is actually one more quest line with another crazy throwback to something that I love going through every time. The weathered grave marker simply reads, Morgan Lattimore, Upon further examination, you notice the dirt over the grave has been recently disturbed, and that a good amount of the dirt seems to have been displaced.
Need help?
Morgan Lattimore? Ah, yes, of course. His was a long and sorrowful tale. I knew him well before he left for the war, but that was the last time I saw him. A noble and good man he was, but he suffered a bad end. Here, I have something here that can tell the tale better than my own recollections. Searches through the bookshelf and comes up with a leather-bound book. If you would like to know more, you might ask Althea. She's been the one to handle the trouble with him as of late. Morgan Lattimore. Never heard of... Oh, you mean Morladim. I guess you haven't heard the story? Well, I'll give you the short version. A powerful undead calling itself Morladim has been wandering Duskwood. From what we've gathered, it appears to be the undead body of Morgan Lattimore, of whom you apparently know. He's been causing all sorts of problems, attacking watchmen on patrol and killing people. You seem to be capable enough. Maybe you can lay him to rest. From what my scouts tell me, Morladim wanders throughout Duskwood, following a strange and meandering path through the cemetery. We buried him out past the house on the hill. You know where that is, right? There isn't anything I can do to help you, but I do wish you good luck. Morgan Lattimore was a great and noble knight who fought in defense of the innocent, the poor, and the afflicted. For many years, he worked diligently throughout the outlying areas of Azeroth, bringing relief to the suffering and swift justice to evildoers. He was married to a young girl named Lyce in the summer of his 18th year. They were much in love with each other and would eventually produce 3 children, a son and 2 daughters. Morgan was 32 when the war broke out in Lordaeron. Morgan was called to the side of the legendary paladin Uther the Lightbringer to fight against the orcs and the undead. Leaving his wife and children in the safety of his home, Morgan left for the war. The years passed and the wars dragged on. Morgan would witness many horrific events, including the disbanding of the Paladins of the Silver Hand, the death of Uther, and the spread of the plague. The only thing that kept him from the brink of madness was the knowledge that he would someday be reunited with his wife and his children. Morgan would eventually return to his homeland, but find it nothing like how he remembered it. The once verdant forest was corrupted and teeming with undead and other dark forces. Destroyed houses and farms could be found everywhere, and the cemetery near Ravenhill now dominated much of the area. A shocked and bewildered Morgan eventually made his way to this home, only to find it in ruins. Not knowing what had befallen his homeland, he headed towards the village to find answers, and he had hoped his wife and children. Morgan inquired about his family, but could not find any answers. A priest in Darkshire, as it was now called, said that he might search the cemetery at Ravenhill for a gravestone. Morgan refused to believe that his family was dead, and continued to search every farm and house in Duskwood, but to no avail. Morgan rode from Darkshire to nearby Lakeshire, thinking that perhaps his family had fled. On his way there, he decided, against his better judgment, to stop by the Ravenhill Cemetery. Morgan spent hours walking amongst the gravestones. He recognized many names of the people that he knew and became more and more distraught. Then he saw them. A small, untended plot amongst the many with 3 small gravestones. A feeling of dread washed over him as he approached. Morgan brushed off the dust of the most prominent gravestone to reveal the name on it. Simply carved upon the grave, letters spelled out his worst fear. Lyce Lattimore, beloved wife and mother. Morgan's apprehension turned to dismay, and then to grief, and he fell to his knees weeping. For hours he stared at that one grave, begging the cold stone for forgiveness and sobbing apologies. Then hours later, something in him snapped, and he began to lash out. He brought his sword out of its scabbard and began to rain blows on the gravestone, screaming in rage. Blind in his fury, he lashed out and swung wildly, catching the notice of a trio of the cemetery's attendants. As they tried to restrain him, he turned his focus to them, hurling accusations of guilt upon the innocent attendants, then killed them all. Later, when the rage had passed, realization crept into Morgan's mind, and he saw his bloody sword driven into the chest of one of the attendants. Driven to the brink by his emotions, he removed his belt knife and plunged it into his heart. Morgan Lattimore's body and the 3 bodies of the victims were found the next day. He was quickly buried without ceremony in a hastily dug grave on the outskirts of the cemetery. Because Morgan committed murder against innocence, something that went completely against his belief and his nature, and because of the grief that he held in being unable to save his family, Morgan could not die a peaceful death, and lived on as one of the restless dead. Only days later, his grave was disturbed, and the body could not be found. The being that was Morgan now wanders Duskwood, consumed by his grief over the loss of his wife and children, and his own self-hatred. Morladim, as he now calls himself, roams Duskwood with mindless vengeance and hatred, and has been known to commit murder indiscriminately. Oh, you killed him? That's no small accomplishment, Metro. On behalf of the people of Darkshire and the Night's Watch, I thank you. There's one small matter, however. I should have told you this earlier. How do I put this? Morgan may have believed that his family was all dead, but in fact his daughter Sarah Lattimore is now a Watcher. She's always been troubled by the circumstances surrounding her father's death. Perhaps you can go to bring the news to her.
See you around. Greetings.
Yes, my father. I wish there was something I could have done for him. If only I had talked to him before he... Here, take this and lay it on his grave. Maybe somehow he'll know that I'm okay, and that none of us hold him responsible for what happened. There are tears in her eyes now, as she slides a ring from her right hand and presses it into your hands. And thank you, Metro.
Light bless you.
Leave me be. That is Sarah. Could it be she's still alive? The weight is removed from my shoulders, Metro. Take my sword, Arceus. As my soul is put to rest, I have no more need for it. It was forged to do good, and though I approve myself unworthy to hold it, perhaps you will carry on the light through it. Lyse, my love. That's appropriate. My sword, Arceus, served me well in life, but as at last my spirit may pass from the unhappy existence, I need it no longer. I shall cling to the love of my daughter, and hope that I'll find forgiveness under the light for my sins. That's Duskwood, one of my favorite zones ever. I mean, talking about in the beginning and in the end, it's always great. Lots changed here, but it is still fantastic. I think it's probably one of the zones that's changed the least as well, or at least in terms of its storyline, has changed the least. Obviously, they added the Worgen stuff, but most of the overall story arc is still there. And I will say the thing that kind of catches me the most is that even in other places where undeath is discussed, it never really feels as serious or as sad, really, as this zone. Really, is there a zone sadder than Duskwood? What would you say? Would you say there's a zone out there that is sadder than Duskwood? I can't imagine it. I mean, there's some, like, really ancient sadness in WoW, but this feels very relatable and makes me tear up a little bit at times, no matter how many times I play through these. So this was, one that I've been waiting to do for a long time. Really glad I got it done. Great story, great zone. It was good for experience too on this no-spec paladin that I've been leveling. So I really hope you enjoyed this. Duskwood, tribute to you. Very great zone and one of my favorite ever. So here he comes again. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.